All right, I'm here to give an evaluation of Jeremiah Donati's first pitch. I told him when they ask you, was it a strike? The correct response is, what? Depends how tall the hitter was, right? Thank you, Jeremiah, for being here today. And it was fun to get that first game out of the way. And I told you Sacred Heart was going to be a scrappy team, and they certainly were. We're not in mid-season form yet. You know, when you play that first game, there's going to be jitters. I don't care. I've done this 40 years, and there's always going to be jitters. We didn't swing the bats as great as I think we will going forward, but we did enough offensively, you know, to scratch a few runs across. The key to the game, though, for us, I think, was Dylan Cruz pitching out of that jam early in the game, and then Parker Marlatt coming in and doing such a tremendous job. And when you don't give up too many runs in those situations, you find a way to win. And then Henry, of course, came through with the clutch hit as well as Naraki. So it was a good win for us to start the season. Only 55 more to go. So.
Questions for Henry and Parker?
How you doing, Kaz?
Good.
Just take us through the at-bat, if you could. Just what were you looking to do? Obviously, you did have the go-ahead run on third. What were you trying to do at that moment?
Yeah, I'd say I was just trying to keep it simple. I had a lot of info from the hitters who already faced him. Just trying to keep it simple, take it the other way, and see it deep. He threw that first one in the dirt, so I kind of got a good understanding of what he had, and he threw another one a little bit more over the plate, and I was able to get the job done.
Is it okay if I ask for Paul or
players?
Players first. Okay. For Henry, then, how much did Blake Jackson kind of set the tone there in the inning, getting on first and then getting all the way to third to let you get the go-ahead run?
Yeah. Super fast. And when any guy steals a bag like that, it's a ton of momentum. It's a big momentum builder for the team. You see him get there, and he's super hyped up, and that kind of gives energy for the whole dugout. And everyone felt that, after the inning was over, I came in the dugout, gave him a huge hug. It's just great for him to be able to, get that bag for the team. John?
Parker, big moment there, coming in with the bases loaded. What's going through your head in that moment? How easy is it for you to kind of block out and focus on the hitter versus all the things going on around you?
Yes, sir. Coach Rooney really emphasizes bigger the moment, bigger the breath. So just take everything in for a second, when you jog out there. Then when you step toe on the rubber, it's go time. Like, I know we needed 2 outs. I know we gave up one there with a really weak ground ball, but just got the job done.
Parker, Dylan starts the game with 9 strikeouts, and then you get 5 yourself. Was it just your pitches were working today, or was there one thing that you kind of noticed with the Sacred Heart hitters?
No, it doesn't matter the hitter that's in the box. We're always going to pitch to our strengths. So, if someone has a weakness, we're just going to make our strength better than their own strengths, and we're just going to get outs the way we know how to get outs.
Al?
Henry, you guys had a couple runs on wild pitches today, a couple others with some big hits late. What do you think about the small ball, this offense, and kind of that maybe being part of the identity of this team?
Yeah, I feel like we just have a lot of guys who can come up in the big spots and get it done anyway how, and that goes back to just practice and repetition at whether it's small ball or hitting the ball the other way, bunting. I feel like this offense can really do it all. And no matter what challenge we have ahead of us, I feel like we can attack it in a lot of different ways. Chad?
For both the players, just describe what it was like, out there in front of the fans on opening day, and most importantly, to come away with a W.
It was incredible for me. First game as a Gamecock, I'd say it definitely lived up to the hype. You feel the crowd out there. You feel the fear or feel the pulse of the crowd. And when our fans have our back, it's just there's no better feeling.
To add on to that, I'm a guy that works off of emotion, and when the moment gets bigger, I get more excited and I become more laser focused. So I think that just kind of plays a role in me coming in a sticky situation and getting us out of it, and then using that to build momentum as you go.
Any more questions from the players? All right, we'll let them go. Appreciate it. Hey,
Thanks.
all right. Questions for Coach Mainieri? Start with Dave.
Paul, you did have Dylan out there throwing 9. He only had really the one rough inning. Was he on a pitch count? Did you want to go ahead and see what the rest of you had, or rest of your bullpen had?
I thought for a first outing, 5 innings, and he was right at 75 pitches. We thought we could go up to probably 90, but I just thought the kid pitched his heart out. He was magnificent. He pitched out of that jam. And plus, I have all the confidence in the world in those guys in the bullpen, and we're going to pitch a lot of guys this weekend. So, Pitzer, obviously had trouble finding the strike zone, but he's a kid that's going to be very valuable for us. I hated to take him out, but the game was kind of on the line right there. Hated bringing Parker in a bases-loaded situation, his first time all season pitching. But obviously the kid has an awful lot of poise and composure and did a fantastic job. But, I was just really proud of Dylan. He showed great leadership tonight by taking the way. He did exactly what I expected him to do and why we gave him the ball on the first night.
Go to Alan.
I know it was only 6 pitches, but you gave Brendan Sweeney the closer spot. He get his first game at this level. What did you see from him, and how much confidence do you have in him right now?
Well, we've been grooming him for this, and this is why I felt confident that we could move Matthew Becker into the starting rotation, because I thought that Sweeney could handle that kind of situation. So we've been, making these situations for him in scrimmage games, he's such a nice kid and very, soft-spoken. So we're trying to make him a little meaner. So we gave him a nickname. We call him the Bulldog now. So nobody calls him Brendan Sweeney. We just call him the Bulldog. And that's a funny story how it all came to be. As everybody probably knows, Tommy Lasorda was a huge person in my life. And he had a pitcher by the name of Oral Hershiser, who ironically wore number 55. And Lasorda told me the story one day that when he had Hershiser, he was kind of soft-spoken and introverted, and trying to make him more competitive, he gave him the nickname the Bulldog. And then one day we were stretching in the before practice, and I was walking among the players, and I looked down at Sweeney, and I saw that he was number 55. And I said, anybody know who the last great pitcher that wore number 55 was? And somebody said Oral Hershiser. I was shocked that the players would know who he was. So I said, well, you know what Hershiser's nickname was? The Bulldog. So no longer do we call him Brendan Sweeney. He is now the Bulldog. So that's all everybody was calling him from the dugout, and you see him out there on the mound. He thinks he's a tough guy now. So we knew that he could go after he's got a good fastball. He's got actually a good repertoire of pitches. He didn't have to use anything tonight because he only ended up throwing, 6 or 7 pitches, which is great because then we can have him for tomorrow. But he did a tremendous job, came in and threw strikes and went right after the hitters.
Jack.
Paul, how pleased were you with the at-bats you guys were taking, moving runners over, small ball, if you will, being able to drive in those runs in the late innings?
Yeah, I don't really want us to be known as a small ball team. That's not the intention. But, this time of year when it's chilly and you get that north wind blowing in, I've always said that there's no climatal condition that affects baseball more than the wind. And, when the storm went through and the front went through, and all of a sudden we got that northeast wind come blowing right into the hitters' faces, I just didn't really expect to hit home runs. You saw that one that kid hit for them, Diamore hit. He thought it was a home run, and it didn't get out of the ballpark. I was really surprised that Petrie's got out of the ballpark, to be honest with you. So I just felt like tonight we were going to have, going into the game, that we were going to have to manufacture some runs. And so that's why we utilized the hit and run, and we utilized stealing bases and tried to make some things happen. But a key at bat in the game I thought was going to be Talmadge LaCroix when he came up with the runner on second base, and he flew out the right field to advance the runner to third base. Then bring the infield in, and Rocky with 2 strikes, had a great approach, and give credit to Monty Lee for all the work that he does with our hitters. And, he adapted to the 2-strike situation there and just tried to put the ball in play, and he did, and added the extra run for us, which made it a little bit easier for us in the ninth.
You've been seeing it for a couple weeks, couple months, but for Ethan to have an opening day home run. How cool was that? And, is it nice to know that he's not going to have a slow start?
Yeah, I wouldn't ever worried about him having a slow start. But my son Nick, who traveled here all the way from South Bend, Indiana today and had the trip from heck, if you know what I'm saying. He missed connections twice, took an Uber from Charlotte, finally got here, was in the dugout with me, and as Ethan was going up to the plate, he says to me, "I'm calling this one." And I said, "No, not tonight. There's nothing going out tonight." And 2 pitches later, he hits one over the center field fence. So my son is a lot smarter than I am, I can tell you that.
John.
It seemed like you had a lot of guys with poised performances in big moments, whether it was Scobie over there with the ground ball or Naraki with the 2-strike hit. Is that a nice trait to see on opening day when poise can maybe be tough to come by?
John, that's something that we stress all the time with the players. The modern day baseball people think there's no such thing as clutch or RBIs don't matter, all those kinds of things. And that's where my old-fashioned feelings about the game still play. I put a lot of pressure on the players in practice because I want them to be poised when they get in those situations. I want the game to be no different than the pressure I put on them in practice. And I told you how much I love Scobie, and I think he demonstrated to you why. Do you see how calm he was to make that play in the 9th inning? And Scobie's going to hit, but he's a freshman, and he's gonna have some mistakes. He took a called 3rd strike tonight, and I'd rather see him being up there battling with 2 strikes. But he's a good kid. He cares about the right stuff, and he's got talent. And he's a really good defensive third baseman. And I've said it many times that I think third base is the most underrated position on the field. You don't notice you don't have a good third baseman until you don't have a good third baseman. But Scobie can handle the hot corner, and he's going to make a lot of clutch plays for us. But, handling those clutch situations, I told the team before the game, I very much expect this to be a 1-run game. And what we do in the first 6 innings, or first 5 innings, 6 innings, don't matter. What we do in the last 3 innings of the game is what's going to decide what happens in this game. So when they came back and tied the game, there was no panic among the team. They were well prepared to handle that situation with poise.
Coach, the early season can kind of favor pitchers, but what does it do to the pitching staff to come out and have 16, 17 strikeouts tonight? What does it do for their confidence?
Yeah, I didn't think we were capable of striking out that many batters in a game, but I think it just shows the hard work that Terry Rooney has done with our pitching staff. They're not going to be perfect. Pitzer had a tough night tonight, but he'll be back. He'll pitch again this weekend before it's over, and he'll be much, much better. And I haven't lost a bit of confidence in him. But you saw the way Marlatt, Sweeney, and Dylan Eskew all pitched. And, we don't have that truly dominant arm like a lot of schools do. We're just not there yet, but we will someday. But we got a lot of guys that can compete. And they're not, they can go out there and dazzle the other team and with a lot of guile and a lot of smarts, and Terry calling the pitches and keeping the other hitters off balance and so forth. And that's the way we're going to have to pitch. But I didn't think we'd strike out that many batters. We're going to have to play good defense. And ultimately, we did play good defense, and it mattered a lot.
Back, Chase.
Coach talked about those opening day jitters. What was today like for you? First time coaching a live game in a handful of years.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I tell you, it was. I try not to think about it being my first game. I was all about the kids out there, but it was a little bit like riding a bicycle, to be honest with you. It was fun being on the top step again and looking around and seeing a big crowd. And when they started playing Sandstorm in the 7th inning and everybody was waving their towels, I got to tell you, I got a little blood pumping in my body that moment. That was pretty cool. So it was good to be back. I enjoy, being in the tough moments, and trying to, show some leadership. So I was just really happy to be back and to have much of my family was here with me and enjoying the moment as well. Thank you for asking.
Any other questions?
Just out of curiosity, that 4th inning, was that a just swung through a hit and run or a missed sign?
Yeah, I thought we had him set up perfect, and they were doing a little bit of a wheel play there, and you know, when the count went 1-1 there, I just thought the guy was going to lay a fastball in there, thinking we were going to bunt again, and actually it was a pretty good pitch, and I think Blake would tell you that he just got really long with his swing. He was trying too hard, you know. Blake is such a fierce competitor that sometimes he holds on a little bit too tight, and his swing just got really long. We've done that play in practice with him in a scrimmage game probably 3 or 4 times. We did against the Air Force Academy in the fall, and he doubled in the left field corner. And this time he just, you know, swung so big that he swung underneath the ball. And, you know, that's the risk that you run when you put a play like that on, you know. Coach looks like an idiot when it doesn't work, but you know, we did it in the first inning, and Kaz hit the ball up the middle, and it made for a run there in the first inning. I thought we might get more out of that, but unfortunately we only got the 1 run. But, you know, again, because of the conditions, I just felt like we needed to try to make something happen today. And I also want, you know, when the kids are a little bit nervous, you want to show, the coach needs to show them he's not afraid either, you know, and going to be a little bold with some of his strategy, and it kind of I think it loosens the team up a little bit. That one happened to backfire, but I take responsibility for that.
Anything else, Coach?
Okay, thank you all. See you all tomorrow. We're going to meet as a administration and decide about the games for the next 2 days, so I'm sure Kent will send out some kind of announcement, whether it's status quo or we change to a doubleheader. Okay.